welcome. Anyway, it's a real spirit-filled night tonight in all sorts of ways. So we've got the alcohol there as well, but the Holy Spirit is the main guest tonight. Would you put up your hand if you went up to Sydney? I just want to see who I'm talking. Oh my God, everybody's there. Okay. Put your hand up if you went to Cologne as well. You went to Sydney and Cologne. Right. Has anybody been to 3 World Youth? Oh. Nobody's been to 4, have they? Sorry. Brad? No. Don't lie now, Bishop's here. You've been to 4? Okay. Which ones have you gone to? What one? Oh, well, you're a real World Youth Day junkie, that's for sure. That's for sure. And I hope also that maybe those that couldn't go up to Sydney participated perhaps here in Melbourne Days in the Diocese. And if you weren't able to do that, I'm sure you would have watched some of it on the television. I think everybody's been exposed to it somehow. So even today, over the last few days, but even today, I've had quite a full day today, and you know, I've met quite a few communities that are still really on a real bounce with it. I don't know what you're like. What goes up often has to come down. So, but could you just put up your hand if you're still sort of feeling really, really good about it? Once you got over your sickness, over the colds, could you just put up your hand if you're still on a bit of a buoyancy about it? Yes. Right. Well, they're all from Croydon, those ones over there. Right. Well, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. So I'd like one from Croydon to just come up here and just to tell us a little bit about why you're still on a bit of a high. Michelle, thank you. Is it Michelle? Thank you, Michelle. The Holy Spirit's calling you. This is totally spontaneous, but I will give you the $20 after tonight anyway. Yes. I just want to hear for a moment just what was it like for you. And I'm looking for somebody else too, a second person. Maybe a guy. Is there a guy here that'd like to come up from any background at all? Doesn't have to be from Croydon. Michelle, come up. Any guy like to volunteer just to come up and tell us a little bit? Rowan, up here, come over. Rowan, we all know Rowan. This is real Aussie dobbing going on here. Good. Now, Michelle, was that your first time?
Second time. Second
time, so you can make a bit of a comparison. I don't really want to know what you did, but I want to... when the media interview you, they've only really got one question, the media. It's really, how did you feel about it? So, could you answer that question for a minute or so? How did you feel about it? Over to you.
Well, I felt awesome because I got to see our second main man kind of thing, before. It was really great, and it was awesome sharing it with all these beautiful people from Croydon. They're like my family. And we had the pre-World Day, the Zambians, and some people from La Réunion, and they spoke French, and they were amazing. And just having people from other walks of life that had the same beliefs as you, and you went to Mass, and it was in Italian, or it was in French, or in a different accent. But you all said the same thing. You knelt down at the same time-ish. And no, but some people in other countries kneel down less. But you said the same prayers. You knew what was going on in Mass, and it was amazing at Randwick. I felt uplifted. Just the fact that there wasn't any bad weather. There was so much to whinge about, but no one was whinging, so it was amazing.
Good, Michelle, well done. So do you speak French, too?
Oui.
You speak some French, so you had no trouble with the people from
No, I
Reunion.
don't speak
Very
French.
good.
I lied. I don't speak any French.
You don't speak French? Oh, I see. You just lost whatever French you had. You just lost it.
Yes, I did.
Thank you, Michelle. Let's hear it now from Rowan. Now, Rowan, this is your second, maybe third, is it? Third, right. Well, you might want to make a bit of a comparison then for the rest of us, because Rowan's been very much involved in the 6:30 Thursday in the Cathedral at 6:30. If you don't know about that, we have adoration of the sacrament at the Cathedral most Thursdays, don't we, during school?
Yep, every week of the year, apart from during Christmas and January, apart from those times and on Holy Thursday, but every other week of the year we've got adoration at the Cathedral, 6:30 to 7:30. So get there if you haven't already checked it out. Yeah.
Good, well thank you. That was the free advertisement for the 6:30. And now we want to hear from you about how did you feel about it, and perhaps you might want to make a bit of a comparison with the other World Youth Days.
All right, well firstly to compare the World Youth Days, I thought that Sydney was probably the best organised of the three that I've been to. I've been to Toronto in 2002, Cologne in 2005. Now Cologne was massive. You know, you had 1.2 or 1.5 million, depending on which figures you actually listened to. But it was chaos. It was chaos. It was overwhelming. That was part of the excitement of it. That that there was just so much going on. The public transport system seemed to daily go into meltdown. Nothing seemed to really work in Cologne, but it was still a really exciting time. Toronto was a bit of a different one in that it really ran well, but it was over in one little section of the city, a little bit out of the way, and I felt that compared with Cologne, it didn't really engage quite as much with the city as Cologne did. Cologne pretty much just took over the city. Sydney had the best of both worlds in that it was really well organised, and also it seemed to have we took over the city. We were wandering through the city, walking from place to place. It was wonderful. And that was one thing that I suppose was really special for me, was the fact that Sydney suddenly became, you know, we refer to Sydney sometimes as Sydney City, and we think, there's Melbourne, that's Sydney, or sort of thing. But it was just great. Now, when I go back to Sydney, I'm always going to be reminded of all these amazing experiences that we had. But also, the thing that I hold dearest to my heart is the fact that I went up with a group of Vinnie's members, you know, the St. Vincent de Paul Society, and to be walking the journey with so many of those St. Vincent de Paul Society members, some of whom were really into their faith already, some of them who were really searching in their faith, and to see the effect over the months leading up to it, and especially during that week. There was something that there was a flame that it was already flickering, but to see by the end of it, this flame really burning bright. That is the reason why I'm still on such a high, because I think of the effect that it has had on individuals within my group, within the St. Vincent de Paul Society, and I'm thinking, if it's happening to all of these people, if I'm seeing it to such an extent within my own community, then wow. What's going to be happening with all the other parish groups around Australia, around the world, you know? And this is when we talk about, you know, the new Pentecost coming to Australia. This is what we're talking about. The fire just kind of rising up within people. It is amazing to think of that, and I'm still just so excited to think of the possibilities for our church here and around Australia and around the world. You know, this is incredible. So, yeah.
Well done, Rowan. Thanks so much. Thank you, Rowan. That's great. And Michelle and Rowan, that's totally spontaneous at the top of their head, but coming straight from their heart. And I think that they probably are articulating the feelings of many. Last week I was at one of our secondary schools, and the school did a great thing. They got people that went to World Youth Day or participated here in Days in the Diocese to write down things. I do encourage you to write things down, and little testimonies written down, and send them into our World Youth Day office. Is that you, Tiffany, at the back there? Yes, there's Tiffany, one of our Days in the Diocese staff members is here. Put your hand up, Tiffany. So, yeah, there. So we'd like to make a bit of a, you know, gather them all together and make a little booklet of that, because verbal testimonies and written testimonies are very helpful.